President Biden is asking Congress to step in and support a bill to prevent a possible rail strike. The impact this strike could have on your wallet just before the holiday season. And House Democrats elect a new leader, how Congressman Hakeem Jeffries is making history. This is News 3 Now at noon. Good afternoon, I'm Mark Kay. New at noon, Darrell Brooks, the man sentenced to life in prison for killing 6 people when he drove through a Waukesha holiday parade last year, has filed a letter notifying the court that he plans to appeal his conviction. Brooks filed his notice to appeal in Waukesha County Court on Tuesday, according to online court records. A jury found Brooks guilty in late October on all 76 counts stemming from the Waukesha Christmas parade incident last year. Following his conviction, Madison criminal defense attorney Chris Van Wagner said the appeal process for Brooks's case would be lengthy and potentially complicated. A potential appeal could also focus on whether Brooks should have been allowed to represent himself. Happening today, Waukesha Judge Jennifer Dorrell will officially announce that she's running for the Wisconsin Supreme Court. Political reporter Will Keneally is live in Waukesha with more. Will?
So, Mark, we're just expecting her in a few minutes here at the Waukesha County Courthouse behind me. She's been mulling for the past couple of years whether she wants to do a Supreme Court run, and decided just in the last few days here that she will actually go forward with the run. She said just that the timing is right, and we've seen likely that she's meeting with, advisors, different campaign staff over the past couple of days to really solidify the run. And it's all ahead of the deadline, or the start of the deadline tomorrow, which is when candidates can start circulating their nomination papers for both the February and the April election. So now is essentially the time that we'll see all these candidates start kicking off. The interesting thing that we'll see, though, she's likely running as a conservative to maintain the slim 4-3 conservative majority on the court, and she's running to replace the conservative Justice Pat Rogensack on the bench. The one thing that we might not hear from her this campaign, though, is what you mentioned before with the Darrell Brooks case. Because the trial is going to appeal, that's not necessarily something that she can touch on day to day with the campaign. She has to kind of stay that impartial arbiter as she was the judge in that case. But of course, that's where we know her most from. We saw her on TV a bunch during the campaign. That's a lot of her notoriety, and why now might be the best time for her to run for Supreme Court. So we'll see that as she enters the race with another conservative contender. Former Justice Dan Kelly is launching a bid again for the high court after he's defeated a couple years ago. We also see 2 liberal candidates as well in the race, circuit court judges from both Dane and Milwaukee counties. So all 4 of those candidates will square off in a February primary before the top 2 candidates will head to the April election for the general. It's an off-year election, so we might see a little bit of a lower turnout that might favor Democrats, but we'll have to see how that goes from here. Reporting from Waukesha, Will Keneally, News 3 Now.
All right, well, thank you. We'll see you on later newscasts. The Wisconsin Elections Commission held a public hearing via Zoom today to conduct the state canvass for November's general election, certify the results, and issue certificates of election.
The canvass for members of the state Senate and finally for members of the Wisconsin State Assembly.
The Dominionized equipment.
The commission also held public comments where people had a chance to bring up concerns about the election. New at noon, New York Congressman Hakeem Jeffries has been elected House Democratic leader. Jeffries will take over the role from Nancy Pelosi in January. He becomes the first black man to lead a major political party in Congress. The 52-year-old has promised to, quote, get things done, even after Republicans won control of the House in the midterms. Let's head to the Weather Center now. Meteorologist Greg Barnhart has a look at your certified most accurate forecast. A little chilly out there today.
Yeah, it definitely was. Now, we started off pretty normal for in the 20s, but our temperatures really aren't rising too much with that cold air coming. The shower activity would do just all this cold air really is putting up some bands of snow, especially north, and there's actually some artificial moisture being shoved into the atmosphere too that's helping it. But if you notice out west, it's starting to dissipate, so that's the idea that we're going to see a lot of this end. You can see we did have a plume from the Portage plant up there providing that snow. You can kind of see it stretch eastward, so that's kind of something, but that's beginning to fall apart. Otherwise, temperatures are not going to budge much. They're only going to go up to the upper 20s the most with that west wind. You're going to have brisk wind chills that could approach near zero at times tonight or later this evening or tonight. Otherwise, you look at the big picture, cold air pretty much entrenched across most of the western U.S. Warm air is to the south. They still got that front coming through the southeast United States. Our weather to the west looks good for at least another 2 days. And the next system I'll be tracking is the one that's hitting the Pacific Northwest. I'll break down how warm we might get before that and whether we'll see any precipitation that a bit later in the broadcast.
All right, Greg, we'll see you then. Thank you. Montana authorities say the human remains that were found about 18 years ago have been identified as a Wisconsin hitchhiker who went missing decades ago. The Carbon County Sheriff's Office said they launched an extensive genealogy investigation this year to identify the remains of Roger Lee Ellis. According to authorities, he was born in Wisconsin Rapids in 1954. In 1976, he was found facing legal issues related to an arrest for marijuana possession. He told his family he didn't want to go to jail and was heading west. Police in Montana believe he was killed by a traveling companion and are now focusing their investigation on finding the killer. New at noon, people hoping to get back to the nitty-gritty in downtown Madison will have to wait a few more weeks. The restaurant was damaged in a fire earlier this month and will not reopen until December 13th at the earliest. No one was hurt in the fire. Today, Madison fire officials say it was likely caused by improperly discarded smoking materials. They say people were spotted smoking in the area multiple times throughout the day, including just minutes before smoke was seen coming from a dumpster. The Middleton and Sun Prairie locations are open as usual. Well, time is running out to prevent a nationwide rail strike, and Nicole D'Antonio tells us that has the Biden administration and Congress scrambling to find common ground.
With the rail strike looming, House Speaker Nancy Pelosi says the House will vote today to adopt a tentative agreement that the administration brokered back in September.
Today, we are here to safeguard the financial security of America's families, to protect American economy as it continues to recover, and avert a devastating nationwide rail shutdown.
4 unions voted against the contract that includes a 24% raise over 5 years. Workers also want paid sick leave.
Nobody got everything they wanted in this tentative agreement, but all of the parties had to move to get there. When it was reached, it earned praise from labor, business, Democratic, and Republican leaders alike.
Senator Bernie Sanders tweeted that he intends to block the bill, saying of the paid sick leave, quote, "Please don't tell me the rail industry can't afford it." Rail companies spent $25.5 billion on stock buybacks and dividends this year. President Biden, who has always been a very strong supporter of organized labor, says intervening is a tough call, but necessary to protect the U.S. economy.
I respectfully disagree with him and how he's going about doing this, because what he's doing is taking away the members' right to strike.
A strike could start next Friday and would cost the U.S. economy at least $2 billion a day. Many supply chain disruptions are possible, including shipments of coal, lumber, and grain, and some holiday gifts. Nicole D'Antonio, CBS News, the White House.
Well, there's more to come on News 3 Now at noon. An employee who suffered a mass shooting at a Walmart files a lawsuit against the retail giant. And Twitter makes changes to its policy on stopping COVID misinformation. That's all coming up in the Money Watch Report.
You're watching News 3 Now at noon. Everything seems to be getting more and more expensive these days. And it's the same for your heating bills. Since it will cost more to heat your home this winter, USA Insulation wants to give you control over your utility bills. Our premium injection foam keeps the cold outside and your warm, comfortable air inside, right where it belongs. Call now before winter and get a $500 early bird discount.
USA Insulation. Don't you wish you could wave a magic wand and have whiter teeth? Well, you can, but it's not magic. It's power swabs. Just swab your teeth for 5 minutes and boom, whiter teeth and a better smile. And since you're not dealing with messy trays or awkward strips, you're less vulnerable to the harsh sensitivity they sometimes create.
I've used strips. They seem to really hurt my teeth. The power swabs, it just seemed very gentle.
It's so simple and easy. You just open it, you apply it to your teeth, you forget it's there, and I noticed that they're white and bright again like they were before.
I noticed actually a difference the first time that I used power swabs. You put on the first coat and then the activator goes on, and immediately you start seeing it working.
It only takes 5-minute applications to get a brighter, whiter smile with power swabs. You just snap, swab, and smile. Power swabs have been clinically studied to whiten natural teeth and remove stains from caps, crowns, and veneers. It's so powerful, it removes stains from coffee, tea, red wine, and even smoking.
I love my coffee in the morning.
I will never stop drinking coffee. I will not be the person drinking hot coffee with a straw.
As much coffee as I drink, I can use my power swabs and eliminate the staining.
When I use the power swabs, I applied it directly to my front tooth where the coffee stain was.
I like being able to individually get the teeth, and most importantly, it got kind of in between the grooves.
You can put it directly on the stain that you see on your teeth, and it's so precise.
But as powerful as it is, it's also gentle and causes 0 to minimal sensitivity.
This didn't sting, it didn't burn, it didn't have an aftertaste. It was just a swab, and I just got to rub it around my teeth, and that was it.
Take it from me as someone who has gone the dental route, but has also gone on the shelf route, and I've not really seen anything work as effective and as easy as power swabs.
Whiten your teeth this Thanksgiving by ordering power swabs and receive 40% off the regular price. Shipping is free, plus you receive a free quick stick pen to use on the go after meals or a cup of coffee. Visit powerswabs.com or call the number on your screen.
Non-attorney spokesperson. This is a paid advertisement for legal services sponsored by Nightline Legal. Cases assigned on a random basis to participating law firms. If you or a loved one were stationed at Marine Corps Base Camp Lejeune between 1953 and 1987 and were later diagnosed with cancer, Parkinson's disease, or other serious health effects, call right now.
Call 1-800-336-0524.
For the first time, the federal government will back mortgages of more than $1 million in some high-cost areas starting next year. The move reflects the rapid rise in housing prices in recent years. This means more loans could be eligible to be resold to investors, while borrowers could also see lower interest rates. Twitter will no longer enforce a policy to stop COVID-19 misinformation, according to an update in its online rules. Public health officials have criticized the change, which comes just a month after Tesla CEO Elon Musk purchased the social media platform. As cases continue to rise, a fifth of the U.S. population still hasn't been vaccinated, and most Americans haven't gotten the latest boosters. And an employee who survived last week's mass shooting at a Chesapeake, Virginia Walmart is suing the company for $50 million. The woman says she made a formal complaint that the alleged gunman, identified as a store supervisor, made bizarre and inappropriate comments to her weeks before the shooting. 6 people were killed before the suspected shooter turned the gun on himself. Walmart has announced a donation of $1 million to the local United Way to help those impacted by the shooting. And a spokesman tells the New York Times the company will respond to the lawsuit in court. That's your CBS News Money Watch report. For more, log on to CBSMoneyWatch.com. At the CBS Broadcast Center, I'm Dan Lieberman.
Check Wall Street at the noon hour. The Dow Industrial is down 253 points. The NASDAQ off 8. The S&P 500 down 15.5. Our call for action volunteers are in the building, taking your consumer complaints and taking action on your behalf. You're taking a live look at the Call for Action studio. Volunteers are here every Monday, Wednesday, and Friday, so you can call for action right now at 608-270-2833 or submit a claim anytime at channel3000.com/call for action. Consumer Reports is out with this year's most reliable vehicles. 4 out of the 5 top companies are based in Asia, with Toyota taking the #1 spot. Hybrids scored high, including the Toyota Corolla Hybrid, which is the most reliable vehicle overall. The Lexus NX was rated the top-rated SUV hybrid. Deputy Auto Editor John Linkove says hybrids are more reliable than plug-in electric vehicles because many EVs are new.
They have growing pains. It's new technology. It's constantly being refined. It's a new build process because they're all almost brand new models. They're using new suppliers.
Large pickup trucks also hit some speed bumps. Less than half of the models landed on average rating or better. Mercedes-Benz finished in last place on the reliability list after owners reported problems with the electronic infotainment screens. Could a Monday through Thursday work schedule become a thing? A new 6-month study says a 4-day weekly job schedule appears to provide a win-win situation. Researchers with the nonprofit 4-Day Week Global say average revenue rose nearly 40% compared to the same period a year before with a 5-day schedule in place. The workers themselves also like the schedule change, saying they felt less stress and burnout. The findings are based on 903 employees from 33 companies who made the schedule change with no change in pay. Well, Pam has today's egg prices next, and Greg takes a look at the complete forecast. And then today on Live at 4, we talk with CBS Senior Travel Advisor Peter Greenberg on what you need to know about traveling for the holidays.
Nothing beats a great night's sleep on a new Beauty Rest mattress from Steinhoffels. Right now, save up to $600 on Beauty Rest mattresses. Queens start at just $399. Or get $200 in Steinhoffels cash and a $100 MasterCard rewards card when you upgrade to the redesigned Beauty Rest Black. More luxurious and comfortable than ever. And with Steinhoffels' special 72-month financing, your mattress just got more affordable. Relax, it's Steinhoffels.
When I had stubborn fat, I always felt self-conscious. I couldn't wear the clothes I wanted to wear, and it was so frustrating.
I worked so hard. By working out, by dieting, that stubborn fat was just not going anywhere.
I had this vision of how I wanted to look. I didn't feel like myself, so I did what I needed to do. I called Sono Bello. Sono Bello is America's #1 cosmetic surgery specialist because it works.
Sono Bello's board-certified surgeons use micro-laser technology to safely target and remove your diet-resistant fat cells permanently.
Sono Bello removed this big pooch right here. I have curves. I have exactly the body I've always wanted.
I got myself back, my shape back, but most of all, my confidence back.
I lost 4 inches off my waist. Going to Sono Bello has completely changed my life. Just look at me.
Schedule your free, no-obligation consultation and find out how you can get $250 off instantly. Call 1-888-510-6198 or go to sonobello.com.
Those brave men and women of our armed forces, generations of them. Why should today's burdens fall back onto them? They were there for us. Now let's be there for them. Your local Wisconsin energy providers and the Keep Wisconsin Warm Cool Fund are working together to deliver Wisconsin veterans in crisis heat, power, and help staying in their home. But they can't do it alone. Call to donate today.
They've answered the call again and again in unprecedented times. Now it's their turn to get help.
It's so important to keep our service members well.
Eric Franke explores the new program giving critical support to Wisconsin's National Guard. Thursday on News 3 Now at 6. Be prepared for winter weather. Trust the First Warn Weather Team to give you clear, timely, and accurate info. Keeping you safe and ahead of the storms. Your certified, most accurate team, First Warn Weather. Only on News 3 Now. The Farm Report is sponsored by Blaine's Farm and Fleet.
Let's check in now with Pam Jahnke from the Midwest Farm Report. Welcome to winter.
Boy, I tell you, and it just kind of shocks your system. It's from 50 degrees yesterday to I saw a little bit of a flake here and there flying. You know, the good news is, Mark, for a lot of our Wisconsin farmers, the harvest is already complete. Thank goodness. The last or nearly the last update from the Wisconsin Ag Statistical Service came out, and they said as of Sunday, 87% of our corn crop was harvested for grain. Believe it or not, there's still some moisture out there. The average corn moisture was still at 18%. The harvest about 12 days behind last year. 83% of the fall tillage is done. I suppose we could still scratch around with the weather we've got in southern Wisconsin, and 83% of our winter wheat that's been planted so far looks good to excellent. Hey, I just want to remind folks, apparently Iceland is the place to be in 2023. We had one of the first face-to-face travel shows again this morning here at the Radio Ranch, and full room. If you would like to go along with me on our farm tour to Iceland coming up in mid-March, then I suggest that you try to join us. We are having travel meetings at 1 o'clock o'clock today, and again 5:30 this afternoon, right here at Midwest Family Broadcasting. That's on the west side of Madison, 730 Rayovac Drive. I know it's kind of hard to say, but 730 Rayovac Drive, Midwest Family Broadcasting, my radio broadcast studios, and look forward to seeing you here. We've got a lot of folks asking a lot of good questions and a lot of people getting signed up. More than 50% of the volume on my trip already spoken for. That's kind of nice to see. And congratulations to 3 scholarship winners from the Wisconsin Farm Technology Days that was held this past summer up in Clark County. Haven Poroshek, Elliot Ackerman, and Jacob Kopp, 3 young people that received 3 different scholarships from that show. Remember, Wisconsin Farm Technology Days 2023 going to be just down the road from the Channel 3 studios up at the Badger Steam and Gas Engine Club grounds just outside of Baraboo this summer. Barrel cheese was up 1 3/4 pennies today at 181 3/4. 40-pound block cheese down 2.5, 206 1/2. Double A butter on a Wednesday down 1/2 cent at 292 1/2 per pound. So yeah, learning a lot about Iceland just watching the presentation today. They said I'm going a trip where I'm going to be taking long underwear and a swimsuit. How do you like them apples?
Well, I thought you're talking Iceland. I thought you were talking about here.
Well, yeah, that too.
Yeah, it's supposed to be a fascinating place. I understand why
tell you all about
people are very interested in it. All right, thank you, Pam.
See you.
Here's Greg now with the complete forecast.
Yeah, it's definitely going to be a cold one today, but the good news is the cold is not going to last that long. We're in a pretty quick system. So we still got some flurries today. Most of that's ended. The wind will be the main story to look at for at least today. It'll be breezy Thursday and Friday, but out of the south. So we'll have gusts about 30 to 35. Then we have a system come Saturday. That's a cold front coming through. Very similar to the one that we had here, where we're not going to see a lot of snow, but we will see wind and maybe a little mix of rain to snow too, and definitely a drop once again in temperatures. So really starting tomorrow, we're going to see more mild conditions. Cold air is going to start dropping out to the west. They're going to see a front that's going to be approaching there. That's going to swing through Friday, Saturday, but you notice behind it, we kind of rip back up with warmer temperatures. We don't really see the cold air. It stays locked to the north. So once again, just brief spells of cold air that we're going to see here. So for today, the winds will be the main story. The cloud cover will start dissipating more this evening, but the winds will continue until later tonight. We'll start seeing them die off. And then by tomorrow, you'll start seeing out west, the winds begin to turn around from the southwest. We have a front that's going to be approaching. So overall, tomorrow will be warmer, more seasonal. We'll start picking those winds up come Thursday night, and then until Friday. Friday's definitely the best day of this stretch, where we once again could reach some 50s with a southerly wind ahead of another front coming through that will bring another shot for some precipitation. And once again, another drop in temperatures comes Saturday, kind of like we had this morning. So today we're going to see upper 20s, really. That's about as warm as we're going to get. This afternoon, this evening, we'll start clearing out. Winds will still be there, teens to almost single digits by the time we get closer to 10 p.m. Overnight, the winds will finally die down, but not until really after midnight. Single digits really in some spots, and then we'll see some more clouds start to increase towards later in the morning. Then tomorrow, you'll see temperatures rise about another 10 degrees warmer than we saw yesterday, so more mid-30s, upper 30s, more where we should be. Breezy, but out of the south tomorrow, not out of the wind, out of the north like we saw today. So that's the good news. Winds today definitely going to be a concern. 35 to 40 gusts in a lot of the areas, and so west-northwest direction. This is through 5 all the way to 10. They're still gusting pretty good, so they won't really die off for a while, and that really creates a wind chill problem in the area too, to speak of. That next system I talked about, the snowfall, very light right now, most of it to the north, kind of similar to what we saw with the previous one, but we could see a little bit of rain come Friday afternoon, switch to snow Sunday night. So that refreeze issue could be a problem once again come Saturday morning. Too early to say, but right now snowfall amounts look fairly light to be with this one. So as you look at where's 50, we get back to 32, 38. Another system comes by Monday, Tuesday, that could bring another chance, but that still doesn't look that great either. And then thereafterwards, we kind of cool back off to the upper 20s. Perspective, we should be about the upper 30s right now. By the time we get to the end of next week, probably mid-30s. So that would be about average as now we're entering the month of December.
Yeah, temperatures all over the place there.
It's jumping up and down, but like I said, you woke up this morning and everyone's cold, but actually that's a normal low for this time of year.
That wind, though, that takes your breath away. All right, Greg, thank you. There's more to come on News 3 Now at noon. Up next, we'll see what Howard's working on in the Mr. Food Test Kitchen.
Chips and dip are okay, but if you really want to take game day munchies to a whole new level, you got to stick around to see what we're whipping up today.
News 3 Now First Warn Weather is brought to you by Lazy Boy Home Furnishings and Decor.
Discover a shopping and design experience as comfortable as the furniture. Lazy Boy Home Furnishings and Decor. Schedule your free design consultation today.
Toyotathon is on. Now's the time to get an exciting new Toyota. Like Camry Hybrid, RAV4, Tundra, and more.
How did you...
Magic.
Right now, during Toyotathon, get 3.49% APR for 48 months on a new Toyota Corolla, Camry, RAV4, Highlander, or Tacoma.
Come in today.
Toyota. Let's go places.
Find everything you need to get your projects done at Menards. Skill delivers power and performance with the PowerCore 20 cordless power tool system. It delivers the convenience and portability of cordless tool operation while providing advanced power and torque for the bigger jobs. Every Skill PowerCore 20 battery is interchangeable with all Skill 20-volt power tools. Save big money on our in-stock selection of Skill 20-volt power tools. Plus, give the perfect gift with the Menards gift card.
Warm season's greetings to you all from Menards.
Sometimes a cough isn't just a cough, so it's better to be prepared. Keeping Binax Now handy makes it easy to test. And self-test kits may be reimbursable with no copay through your health plan. With Binax Now, you'll have reliable results in 15 minutes with the self-test that features the same technology doctors use and detects multiple variants, including Omicron BA.5. So you can always be prepared with Binax Now, the #1 COVID-19 self-test in the U.S.
Here's to the holidays. Here's to the casserole queens and Santas who saute. To the turkeys brined in beer, and well, just beer. To the ones who do the most, and the ones who do the least. To the classic traditions, and whatever you call this one. This year, no matter how you holiday, Festival has you covered. Festival Foods, a Wisconsin tradition since 1946.
You protected our rights, preserved our freedom. You may have even risked your life for us. Now, it's our turn to fight for you. Your local Wisconsin emergency, energy, and housing assistance providers, and the Keep Wisconsin Warm Cool Fund reward the service of our veterans with rental and energy support in their time of crisis. Apply today to get the fresh start you've earned.
Right now and through the beginning of the year, there is no shortage of football to watch. Whether you're hosting a few friends at home or you're looking for just the right thing to take to your neighbors, I've got a tasty idea. The first thing we do is cut the top third off an oval Italian or sourdough bread. Then with a knife, hollow out the inside, leaving about 1 inch all around so the bread holds its shape. As for the top piece, in the inside that we removed, just cut it into 1-inch chunks. After setting that aside, we mix together some cream cheese, sour cream, a bunch of shredded Swiss and cheddar cheese, and finally, cube mozzarella to make this ooey gooey delicious. Okay, now to take this over the top, we add in some crumbled bacon, a few sliced scallions, a spoonful of mustard, a shake or two of Worcestershire sauce, a splash of beer, and a little garlic powder. After spooning the mixture in our bread, we loosely wrap it in foil and place it in the oven until it's warmed through. Come halftime, serve it piping hot with the cut-up bread and a few veggies, then dig in. This dip is extra cheesy and packed with flavor. And as for the cleanup, well, there is none. To get the winning game day recipe for our halftime bacon cheese dip, just go online. I'm Howard in the Mr. Food Test Kitchen, where today we found a high-scoring way for you to say, ooh, it's so good.
All right, here's Greg with one final check of the forecast.
Yeah, we got cold conditions today, but it won't last. Tomorrow's more seasonable conditions we expect. Windy today. There's definitely that wind chill you'll see today in the evening, but 50 degrees possible on Friday, so a good way to end the work week. Overall winds today, temperatures not budging much, up to 27. Clearing skies this afternoon will drop back into the upper teens this evening. Overall, 50 degrees Friday. Another drop, another windy today, Saturday, and then maybe snow Monday, Tuesday.
All right, thank you, Greg. Thank you all for watching. We'll see you back here at 4 o'clock. In the meantime, have a great afternoon.